Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be playing in the worst performing Tier 8 in the entirety of World of Tanks Blitz. There are three in question. We have the AMX CDC, the T-34-3, and the Lech Panzer M4190. I am honestly very surprised that these are the three worst performing vehicles, especially when there's a lot of tech tree vehicles out there like the STA-1 that I would think would do worse, or the Panther 88, T-49, the Caliban. I'm very surprised that these are the three worst performing vehicles. So in today's video, I'll be playing in these tanks. We'll be seeing if they're bad, if they're good, and what their overall capabilities are. We are going to start off with the third worst performing vehicle, which is the AMX CDC. This tank is quite simple on why it performs so bad, and it's because of the fact it is huge, probably the size of a double-decker bus, paired with the literally zero armor. To do well in this vehicle is actually quite challenging, I will admit, because, you know, in World of Tanks, you're used to having at least some level of armor, where you can maybe poke hull down and get an occasional bounce. But in this tank, you don't get any bounces whatsoever. The problem is you don't have an autoloader. You know, if you drive a vehicle like an AMX 13, you will have some sort of 3-shell clip. So you can poke, deal 600 damage, leave, reload, and do it all again. This tank doesn't have that, and it's also large, which means that people have a very easy time of seeing and shooting you. HE shells will butter through this tank like no tomorrow due to the terribly poor frontal protection, being only about 30 mils on the hull, and the turret. So yeah, the CDC, I definitely understand why this is a poor performer. Anybody that drives a CDC will definitely struggle against tanks that have high alpha and overall damage output. And speak of the devil, the enemy team has 2 Annihilators, a T-49. That alone is very dangerous, and I honestly think that I would be better off in certain Tier 7s over a CDC against those Annihilators. But the nice thing about the CDC is it does have a lot of HP. 1500 is quite a bit for a Tier 8 medium. It also has really, really good DPM at only a 5.5 second reload and very good penetration paired with decent accuracy. So it has some great things going for it. The mobility is probably the biggest strength, reaching a top speed of 60 faster than even light tanks can accelerate. But, again, it's all in perspective, and the real question is, how is this tank's armor going to fare this battle? I can tell you for a fact that essentially if a shell hits me, it's going to pen me. You will not expect to see many bounces. The only vehicles that I will expect to maybe get a bounce here and there are the Annihilators hitting my side, and the... there's a Bisante in their spawn. Interesting. Alright, well, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to speed on in, and we're going to see if I can just get up here. There you go. Nice. Okay, so we have the BZ, and we're going to aim it on his tank. There you go. This is actually a pretty good spot I'm in currently. I feel like this position... Oof. I'm actually very surprised that the Bisante's armor is that strong. Alright, let's get another shell into the BZ. Not bad. Alright, and we reload again. Oh, I don't have the gun depression for that. We also have a T-49 on our rear. I don't know what this AMX is doing. Dude just basically put himself in a spot where we can't do anything because he's right on us. Alright, well, we have the Annihilator, and there you go. 240 damage shot. Not bad. And we reload. There you go. Another pen into his tank. Okay, we're getting bleeds out. That's the most important thing to gather from this game so far. We got a shell into the Bisante, and he shoots my teammate. Oof. We bounce him. I'm just hoping our T-77 can get some bonks out here. That's all I'm hoping. There you go. Nice. T-77 gets a pen into him. Bisante shoots, and we don't have the gun depression for him right now, but we get out. The Bisante's got a damaged ammo rack, so not really that big of a threat. Get another pen into the Bisante. Still has a damaged ammo rack, so yeah, that's the end of him. Bye! There you go. Nice. I mean, this tank has a great gun, and you can very easily have the DPM work well. I mean, we're seeing that here. I've been using the DPM and put myself in a very, very good position to get shells into my opponents. But at the same time, we have had to play very cautious, make sure that we're not putting ourselves in an easy-to-get position. The other thing that you'll notice about the CDC, which I definitely dislike, is the accuracy on move. It features a very, very poor on-movement dispersion value, which can cause you to miss a lot of shells that you really wouldn't expect from a vehicle like this. Alright, well, we are going to move up a bit, and I'm going to chill in this bush here. We can spot the Annihilator if he goes over there. We can spot him if he goes here. So this is just a good spot in general. And there you go. We have the enemy Annihilator detected. Get a nice shot straight into his hatch. Okay, that's pretty good. We have the IS-2, who just killed himself. Great. So if you want to throw a game, our team's doing a great job at it. I'll tell you that. Huh. Well, I'm going to try and flank. I'm not sure if we're spotted, but I'm hoping that we can distract. So let's get behind the Annihilator. There you go. One nice shell into his vehicle. And let's see. He is looking at me. Let's just hope that he shoots. Nope, he hasn't fired yet. Alright, well, we're just going to poke him again. There you go. Another nice shot. This is where the DPM feels amazing on this tank, because we waste the Annihilator's 3 shells with our mobility, and we're using this high level of DPM to just completely annihilate his HP pool. We're already at 3,000 damage, which is quite good, and now we push the enemy Annihilator here. We're also going to ram him. Oof, we have 7 health left. However, we're still alive, and that's all that matters. We get 1, we get 2, and 3 shots into his vehicle, and all our AMX has to do is clear him, but apparently that's too challenging. Thankfully, we have the shot, and we finish him off. There you go. Very solid game. I didn't realize that our battle was actually that close to being a loss. I thought we still had the T-77 left. I just looked up and saw I was the only one on the team. That ram I did almost lost us the game, but it worked out in the end. We got an ace. We got 4,000 damage, so I can't really get too mad. As we can see, the AMX CDC is quite a strong performer when given the opportunity to do well. It can farm, it can get out good damage. I actually like the tank. It's just the fact that it has no armor that you have to be super careful on where you play it, how you position it, and that's where I think a lot of people really struggle. It's not a light tank in the fact that you have light tank camo, and that's its major issue. So we're going to move on to the T-34-3. This is the second worst performing tank. The T-34-3 features a crazy amount of pen, 297 on the heat with calibrated, which is more than enough to turn any armor into butter. It also features a very fast aiming time, similar to that of the Tier 10 Chinese medium, the 121. It's got decent mobility, but a very poor power-to-weight ratio, but I really like the armor profile. It's basically a Type 59 hull with a very well-armored turret, and what that means is that you can very easily use this tank on the majority of, ridge lines, hide the hull, show the turret. You can get some big 400 damage slaps out, and you'll also do a great job on hiding the hull. It's a super low profile. It's just kind of your classic Soviet medium with a Chinese twist, I guess is the best way to describe it. I'm actually quite surprised this is such a bad performer, because I really enjoy this tank. This used to be one of my favorite Tier 8s. But enough chit-chat, let's get into a battle. So here we are on Alpenstadt, and I think this is a pretty solid matchup. We got 2 silencers up against us, though. Every single player has been spamming the silencer in Tier 7. It's not surprising to me. I mean, it is literally an overpowered tank that you can get upgraded to the max for free. So it's not surprising. It's just quite annoying to see them every battle. Alright, so, well, we are going to head into the bush in front of me. By the way, this tank has a very poor power to weight, as I listed before. Because of that, even a ROM Panzer beat us in the position. However, he's not going to play passive. He's going to YOLO into the front line. Alright, well, can't hit the enemy silencer from here yet, but there you go. He backs into the open, and we're able to slam a 400 damage shell into his tank. You can see the alpha damage feels amazing on this tank. I mean, the fact that you can roll people for 400 is so nice. And we're going to aim it on that silencer again. Another 400 damage shell. 2 shots. We've already dealt 800 HP. And we haven't bled anything ourselves because, I mean, we're just kind of chilling. Let's see if that Ho repokes the ROM Panzer. I doubt it, just because of the fact that ROM Panzer's killing himself already. Why poke? We're naming on the silencer. There you go. That is the fantastic aiming time on this tank, allowing you to slam shells into your opponents. And yeah, the aiming time really is so good on this vehicle. So we're going to aim it on the Ho-Re very, very quickly. Aiming, and bonk. Look at that. 362 shot. This is why I'm quite surprised that the 34-3 is performing so bad, because it's actually quite a fun vehicle to drive. I mean, the gun feels amazing. And while the DPM isn't everything, I mean, it doesn't really need to be on this tank. We have the T-23E3, and apparently 297 mils of heat pen can't cut through that vehicle's mantlet. I'm actually really disappointed about that. However, it's not that big of a deal. We're just going to reload, and if this time he pokes us, which he does, there you go. Bit of a low roll, but, I mean, we did that for not losing any health of our own, so it doesn't really matter. And while the T-23 does feature so much more DPM than us, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, we have a lot more alpha damage. So we just shoot him, there you go. Another low roll, but still bringing him down to a one-shot for us either way. So we're just going to load our adrenaline now, and in 3 more seconds we're going to finish off this player with really little effort at that. There you go. Thank you for your HP. We back up from the KV-4. What's really impressive is that our team is actually losing this game. Like, I don't even understand how that's possible. We've literally chilled and done, like, crazy bonks this battle, but it doesn't seem to matter too much when your team falls apart this quick. Let's hope that our ISU is able to clear that enemy silencer, because I am not. We're going to reload again and aim it on this KV-4. 3, 2... Oh, wow. The KV-4 actually hatches me. Oh, he just goes through my roof. Never mind. Well, either way, we got the pen into his tank. We are going to drive away as fast as possible. And judging that this tank is a very poor power to weight, that's not very fast. Our ISU missed a easy shot on the enemy silencer there, and because of that, he is now a one-shot. Hopefully. Nope, he misses again. Impressive, to be honest. Very impressive. I don't know how you missed that many shots. We have the silencer all the way in the back. Our shell does not hit. I mean, this isn't going to be a win. Let's be real. I don't know what the heck our team did, but it wasn't a lot. Oh, boy. All right, well, we got the KV-4 right in front of me. Oh, we got the Tiger as well. Let's aim it on the KV-4. Nice slap. Thank you very much. I'm just going to try and get out as much damage as possible at this point. We're on a reload. We got just a couple seconds left, and we'll be able to slam a shell into the Tiger here. Let's go for his track wheel. There you go. Nice 387. Then we're going to try and face hug him. I think that should be an okay type of scenario for this tank's turret armor, but he does get the pen out. However, we were able to waste enough time that we could get one more shell out. Man, we were king of low rolls this game. Either way, pretty solid battle. 4,300 damage. And this is why I actually think the 34-3 is a really solid tank. The gun, sure, you don't have the most DPM, but everything else about the vehicle is fantastic. The only reason we even lost there was because literally our entire team added together was probably half of our damage dealt. So, I mean, there's really not much you can do about that. But, hey, really, really solid game from the 34-3. The penetration was great. The accuracy felt fantastic. And that's because of the fact this gun's actually not the worst on its accuracy. It's .36. And when you pair that with only 2 seconds of aiming time, the gun just insta-snaps whatever you're aiming at. I actually really enjoyed this tank. Really disappointing to see it sitting so low in its overall win rate. We arrived to the last vehicle on the list, which is the M4190. This is a tank that has always performed quite poor. And I'm not sure why that is the case, because it's got a lot of great things going for it. First of all, we have the gun. Really good pen, 275 on the heat, and it has 112 mils of high explosive pen. And if we take a look at the gun, it's got really good values. 240 damage per shot is actually quite beefy for a 90 mil. It's got decent standard pen at 190, especially for a light tank. And when you look at the HE damage, it's got 320. And the fact that it's got HE with 112 mils of pen, that's kind of insane. It's got good gun depression at 8 degrees, and mobility-wise, it's basically the same as a T-49, 72 kilometers per hour top speed, 24 in reverse. So it's mobile, it's got great camo because it's a light tank, and it's got a lot of overall DPM, beefy alpha, actually pretty good dispersion as well. So it is rather surprising to me to see how poor this vehicle is performing when it's got, you know, so much going for it on paper. The only thing I will say is that it has the worst camo for all the tier 8 lights in the game. It's weird. You'd think the T-49 has worse camo, but no. It's actually this tank. I don't think it's the biggest issue ever. It's still got light tank camo values. When you're on the move, you're going to have really good values, but it's still weird to see it having such a poor overall camo compared to the other lights. All right. Third game. Let's see what we can do. We got a Pershing, T-49, and TVP V2U for their mediums. T-49's definitely a big threat, but as I said, we have very nice HE pen, so we should be able to butter through any of that armor there. Actually, we should also be able to pen the TVP quite easily through the sides, maybe even the front at certain spots, but I'm not sure. The TVP V2 actually has pretty solid armor, surprisingly. What else? They got an elephant, and tier 7 wise, they have a silencer and SU-152. Okay, so not too bad of a matchup at all. We are going to head into the slightly more aggressive bush next to this rock here. I like this bush better than that one back there, mainly down to the fact that this spot you cannot get hit by tank destroyers, where the other one over there you can. So we got the T-49 spotted already, and our SP is playing it a little bit sussler. We're just going to wait for now, and we can HE the Pershing. Oh, well, that was pretty bad. 23 damage, bruh. Alright, well, T-49 misses, and I'm going to move up. I don't know where their team is, but I don't think they're here. We'll see. We will indeed see. But I'm not seeing much, I'll tell you that. Alright, we got the T-49. Nice 274 shot into his tank once. We're just going to get behind him here and get a second shell. 350. Okay, and there it is. There it is. They get spotted all from the middle of nowhere. Alright, well, at least we got some good bleeds out in the process. Is the Pershing going to poke? He does. There you go. Nice 212. This is where the alpha damage of this vehicle feels really, really nice compared to other tanks in the tier. Let's see. Is the Pershing poking? No, but the SU is going to drive right on over, which means we might be dead. Oh, we're not dead, but we are quite low. I love how you just get away. Well, he didn't get away. He killed himself for it, so congrats. But it's just crazy how I lose all of my health for that. Alright, well, he's dead. I don't know what we're witnessing here. The rest of the enemy team spotted, so the TVP is indeed alone. There you go. Nice 321 HE into his tank. We will out-reload him as well because of the fact that we are obviously with a much lower alpha damage. Do you see the HE damage output, though, in this tank? It's kind of crazy. I mean, look at this. We're able to HE the front of that TVP. I told you the HE potential from this vehicle is actually kind of busted. The fact that you're able to just do what we did to that player with only a 5.6 second reload. All that's left at this point is the elephant. And we're going to use our mobility to try and get behind him here. I would expect him to be looking at the IS, so if we just... Oh, that's not what I want. Well, we're alive. Oh, okay, well, we're stuck. Okay, well, we might not be alive for long. Alright, we tracked him. We're good for now. Not able to HE the elephant, but that's okay. We've still gotten some pretty good bleeds out into his tank. And one more. There you go. I seriously thought the elephant would be looking at the IS, so when I saw him facing us, I kind of panicked there for a second. But thankfully we were able to get around him. We got stuck on some invisible object, but we did pretty good. 3,400 damage. All 3 games we played in these tanks, we had a very solid result in. I actually personally love the M4190. This is one of my favorite tier 8s in the game due to the HE capabilities. The fact that you have over 3,000 DPM when you're firing the HE that has 112 mils a pen is crazy, and it is very hard to counter when you are in lower tier tanks. Did you see us aiming at that SU-152? We literally buttered through his armor like no tomorrow with HE. It's crazy good. So I really like, honestly, the 34-3 and M4190. CDC, I'm ambivalent. I really don't love this tank because of how poor its armor is, but I also enjoy it quite a bit when you're able to work it in a solid situation. I am surprised that these are the worst performing vehicles, though. I really am, because they're all quite capable vehicles and quite enjoyable to drive as well. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, but hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!